Okay, people, so I know last week we spoke about like, oh snap, he's finally here. It's been 187 episodes, but he's finally in the mix of things. Kawaki is here. Well, technically last week, well, yeah, he was in the episode, but he was unconscious for, you know, the entirety of his appearance in the episode. Episode 188, we finally got Kawaki in the mix of things. He's actually talking. He's in action. A lot of his backstory, the way they decided to do it was interesting because if I'm not mistaken, a lot of his backstory was kind of over layers of chapters that we would get sprinkles of his backstory, but it seems as though they just went a lot straightforward into what happened with Kawaki in episode 188. We just get a full-on his backstory. It starts off immediately with his childhood and how bad it was. So yeah, people, let's talk about this episode. A lot to go into. We got Delta, Koji, Kawaki, Garo, Konohamaru talking nonsense. Like, yeah, let's get into it.
No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done.
Okay, so the episode starts off straight into Kawaki's backstory and his past as a child. You see that he had it really, really bad. And I like that they decided to go this route. I think this is something different in terms of a different tone to the story. In case you haven't noticed, in case you ain't been paying attention, the Boruto anime has gotten a lot darker. Funny enough, of course, when it gets to the manga material. But ever since the Kara activation, even before it really started diving into all of the manga exclusive stuff, it seems as though it's really been taking on a darker tone, which is about freaking time, to be honest with you. It took a long time. Like, don't get it twisted. I may praise episode 188. I may praise the last however many episodes I've been, but it is a long time coming. Like, we went through a lot of lighthearted stuff, a lot of things that felt like, man, you know, coming from Naruto Shippuden into this, it was like, yo, what's going on? But I don't want to keep on harping on the failures that the Boruto anime has had, because episode 188, it was just like, we see that Kawaki and this guy Garo just came through some sort of ordeal, something that they had to go through in order to get to this spot. And while Kawaki seems to be okay, and mind you, he's a little kid at this particular point, this guy Garo had lost his arms. So that already showcases that Kawaki, for whatever their experiment is, was a success. While this guy Garo, he might have, you know, gotten through it, but he's missing his arms. And then, man, trying to pick on him. And you notice it's giving you a lot. Honestly, this episode gave a lot, because even during these events, these past events, you see Kashin Koji was watching and observing just like he's doing right now. He was watching, observing, seeing what was going to happen. And then also Amado came out and was watching and observing as well. And even something Amado says later on was pretty freaking significant. But just in general, it feels like each scene in this episode delivered a lot of impact and foreshadowings, and just in general, a lot to the story. And then this guy Garo, he was like trying to basically pick on Kawaki, was choking him out and whatnot. And then that's where we see, and that's where they got the idea of, oh shit, no, Kawaki, he's perfected because his karma mark activated, and he basically pushed this dude's shit back, blew his jaw off, and all sorts of shit. And right there, you gotta just think, wait, so they both just went through the ordeal, which means that this guy Garo also has some sort of special powers. He survived, but he got special powers. Right on top of that, he has like 2 pincers for hands, and still he got his shit kicked in, and Kawaki just decimated him right there, which showcases what type of level Kawaki was on. And that's back then, he was a little child. And there was a line that was very significant that Amado said that makes you wonder and question, like, so is global dominance the goal of Kara? Because right there, after that happens, Amado says the world will kneel before the Kara. So is he talking about like, oh, that's what their goal is? Or is he just saying that they're so frightening that the world will be scared to begin with? Then we cut to a scene of Delta and Jigen. Jigen is eating. Delta's supposed to be eating, but she's just too freaking impatient. And you gotta remember, we had the build up to this point, which in the manga, this scene definitely happened, but it didn't have all of that build up of them worrying that there's a traitor in the midst of the Kara group, and that, you know, all of them are paranoid. Like, there was even a scene where you see Code is listening in on them. So there's a lot of mistrust between this group already. So when she goes and she's like, yo, I don't care, I want to know what's going on with Koji, he's taking a long time, and Jigen gives her the okay, it makes a lot more sense for her to be like just impatient and stuff like that. We got the context behind her feeling that way, that she's desperate to go check in on what Koji is up to, because there's a traitor seemingly in the midst of this Kara group. So again, just giving a little bit of props to what the anime has contributed to the story, with a lot of those extra bits, adding a lot of more significance to their actions in scenes like this. Then Delta goes to get Garo, which I'm not even gonna lie. First of all, Garo looked like a crusty dude in his normal character design that we had seen, like, you know, in the flashback with him and Kawaki. Like, he just looked like a normal dude, shitty haircut, just like whatevs. But the way he looks now is like, it's kind of in between like, oh my god, this guy is a monster, to kind of sick looking. I don't know. But when Delta went to go get him, he's like, ah yes, and you can see that he's very different now after what Kawaki did, where he was crying out, oh my jaw. You could tell he had to get some modifications, because like he's now talking through like some robotic metallic thing that's strapped across his mouth and shit. So you know Garo wants a little bit of revenge. Then we come back to Boruto and crew, and they're in front of Kawaki, and one of the things that Kawaki starts bugging out, he's like, don't touch me, and he like awakens like that, which it kind of makes me wish that they did implement some things that was missing from there. And I don't know if they're going to showcase it in future episodes, because I can't remember if that was all in one stretch of the manga regarding the past with Kawaki's father, because we get to a scene of Kawaki's father, his actual blood father, and how he gave up Kawaki to this guy Jigen. He just straight up said like, yo, he sold him off and whatnot. Well, in the manga, and again, maybe they'll show this in the anime, so forgive me if I'm spoiling in advance, but in the manga, he was abusive. Kawaki's father used to beat him really, really bad as well. So like, there was a certain amount of abuse that Kawaki sustained. So when he goes, don't touch me, it's because of all the horrible things people, you know, different groups, his father, this group and whatnot, all treated him like, that led him to feel like, yo, don't touch me. So I feel as though that was something missed that should have been in there of his father. Don't get me wrong, it's a horrible thing, but that was to demonstrate just why Kawaki goes berserk when people touch him. And just in general, it just showcases the bad hand that Kawaki has had. His own freaking father sold him off to this guy Jigen, and then Jigen was like, I'm your father now. Because he immediately starts to question the Leaf, like, yo, what do y'all want with me? Like, yo, so if I say no, I can't go with you. And Konohamaru's like, yo, fam, let me tell you, you better come with us. And if you don't come with us, I might get my ass kicked. I'm just there like, shut the fuck up, Konohamaru. No one gives a fuck. I was talking with my 13-year-old niece about Konohamaru the other day, and we was talking about, what was it, like about Mitsuki and Sarada, and I'm like, yo, who you think we're gonna fight, Mitsuki or Sarada? She was like, Mitsuki, you know, you saw his past with Orochimaru. And I was like, yeah, you know, that Sage Mode, he could probably even take out Konohamaru with that Sage Mode. And my niece was like, anybody can take out Konohamaru. What are you talking about? This dude is an embarrassment. Oh my god, just stop talking to Konohamaru. At some point down the road, whether it be via manga, anime, or both, they need to give some redemption to Konohamaru, because this is bad. Like, I'm laughing. He is laughable when he is talking to Kawaki, and he's like, yo, if you don't come with us, we're gonna have to take you by force. I'm just like, shut up. However, on the sidelines, unbeknownst to them, Delta arrived, so now not only is Koji watching them, but also Delta, which makes you wonder what the hell is going on. Like, we know Delta showed up because she has mistrust in Koji, and of course the ultimate goal is to retrieve the vessel, aka Kawaki. But what's up with Koji? Why is Kashi and Koji just standing there watching, and even more shocked and surprised by Boruto's karma? And like, what is he after that he is standing there when his whole goal is to just retrieve the vessel, which he could have done a long time ago while he was sleeping at that? So what was he waiting for? Really makes you wonder. But along with her, Delta brought the freakazoid known as Garo. She's like, yo fam, I got an outer with me. That outer that you had, that old geezer, trash, basura, mwah, throw that shit out like bread. But even Koji is like, so you brought that idiot? Like, really? You brought the moron? Alright. And you could definitely see that Kawaki, like, again, a lot of the trauma, which it all goes back to, and I think if you didn't have those flashbacks of everything about his past and whatnot, you would just be like, yo, this guy Kawaki is really freaking paranoid, because he's like, oh, as soon as he sees Boruto's karma mark, he assumes, no, you're playing with me, right? You are with Kara. So he starts to get a little bit, like, wild, and it isn't until Garo shows up that Kawaki's just there like, yo, he don't trust nobody. He is really freaking paranoid, but for a legitimate reason once you get, you know, his past and everything. And once this Garo guy shows up, Kawaki goes into action. He leaps at him. Apparently, Kawaki has these modifications where he could turn his arm into some sort of like sword slash blade, and they clash, and that scene looked beautiful. Art and animation, which you would think that with everything that they got coming up, which we're going to talk about in a second, and everything that we've had, that these episodes would be like, you know, lacking in every department. But like, even those scenes were pretty damn good. And the episode ended, which something that a lot of people are saying, I've seen it floating around, that apparently next episode of Boruto, episode 189, is going to be one of the best looking episodes of the entirety of the franchise, because the preview that we got every preview, you always get like, scenes from the next episode. However, with this preview, we had a still shot, a still image, just one picture for the entirety of the preview of just the crew looking at Kawaki, and you see Kawaki's hand as it is like lighting up. That's the only thing that is moving, that Kawaki's hand is getting ready to light up. So what they got in store for us, again, they're saying that this is going to be the best looking episode next week with Boruto. I can't freaking wait. Kawaki's been a long time coming, so every scene with Kawaki should look amazing. I really hope that that's going to be the case, that they're saying this is going to be better looking than the Momoshiki versus Naruto and Sasuke fight. Big expectations. And as a whole, I feel as though they did a great job handling the flashback of Kawaki as a child, just gearing things up with Garo, Boruto, everything so far. They're doing a great job. I love seeing Delta in action. I can't wait to see her in action. Also, the mystery of Akashi and Koji. Curious what you guys thought of this episode. What do you think of Kawaki thus far? His past? Are you a little bit upset that they took out some of the parts that really showcase and emphasize why Kawaki didn't want nobody touching him, because he was abused by his father and then later on abused by Jigen and them? Also, your expectations for next episode. Again, high expectations. I'm sorry, they are very high based on all the rumors, based on them trolling us with that still image. This is going to be huge. Again, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I think this is going to be the best looking episode of the series thus far. And your overall thoughts and expectations for the Boruto Naruto Next Generations anime with episode 190 and beyond. I can't freaking wait. Kawaki is here, baby, and in action. That's all I have for this one, though. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links are in the description below. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga. Have an awesome day. Peace in. And it's gonna be an agonizing wait for next week's episode. Next week's episode. Have an awesome one.
What I know.